Good day. I You're here with Angelique Coster. Sorry, I got a message as it popped up, so I was like, ooh. You're here with Angelique Coster, all about Accunect and the Q&As of Accunect here on Self-Care Saturday. And why it's Self-Care Saturdays, we're 1 week away from Self-Care Online here again in South Africa on the 18th of April. And if you don't know why you should do it, here is why. We'll be teaching you the 8 Accunect healing principles of what makes Accunect so amazing and useful and effective as a healing technique to add to your toolbox and your personal growth, because it's really all about growth and transformation, which is really something that is really, I find personally, important during this time, this sense of reconnection that we're going through globally, right? So there's this whole expansion that's happening, and there's a lot of transformation that's happening, and one of the things that we're having to look at is how we invest in ourselves, how we invest in our personal growth, how we invest in our transformations, and getting through it as quickly as possible, so not having to drag through everything, right? We want to kind of shortcut it, pull the plaster off, not slowly pull on it, right? So we don't want to tweeze hair for hair. We really want to just take the wax strip and get rid of everything all at once. So the great thing about self-care is that we're able to teach you a very effective, very efficient 3-minute routine that balances mind, body, and spirit of each organ as it is, right? So every organ in Chinese medicine actually has an emotional aspect to it, actually has a mental process to it. So we teach you how to balance your own body every single day, which is a really important investment during this time of growth and transformation, because being able to have more control over our own bodies and in our own wellness is a tool that is very, very valuable. Why? Well, I was having this conversation again earlier today, and so often we get stuck in the idea of having this wealth portfolio for someday when we retire, but we generally don't have the health at the time that we retire to be in a state of enjoyment when we have that investment portfolio. So Accunect Self-Care teaches a self-healing technique in 3 simple minutes. So the class is from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. and we teach you how to do a 3-minute daily routine where you can then balance your own body. So this is like refilling your petrol tank, right? You wouldn't drive your car on empty, and yet we often push our bodies to points and limits where it's in a negative influence or in a negative state, and it then tends to get things like dis-ease and imbalances because it is now in a state of overstress. Right. So bringing the body back into its natural rhythms and bringing focus and attention in the right areas at the right time is an amazing tool, right? And having that self-balancing and that empowerment of self-healing is something that I find I would never want to replace in my life, because it literally makes such a difference. If I'm having a terrible day, I know how to 100% right now balance not only the way I'm thinking about things, but balance how I feel about things, right? And that's something that's great. We also teach what we call the MF brain, which is all about the masculine and feminine mind. And I did a whole video on Feminine Friday yesterday about masculine and feminine. So go and watch that if you're interested in knowing how MF brain really brings connection to the 2 parts of the mind as well as sinks it into the body. So if you haven't seen Feminine Friday, go and watch Feminine Friday. It's a very, very, very cool video on how the feminine powers and the energies at the moment embrace feminine change, and not female change, because there is a slight difference, but feminine energy is in a space of allowing right now. So go and look up yesterday's video, Feminine Friday, for that, right? So we've got self-care on next week, Saturday, the 18th, from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. And this is to teach the 8 healing principles of Accunect, to teach you how to, a technique to self-heal, where we teach you how to balance each organ, mind, body, and spirit every single day, right? Because it's literally like filling your petrol tank. And then we also teach you how to do MF brain, which allows the mind to integrate as a whole, but also allows the mind to integrate back into the body, which brings in grounding as well as the ability to be able to process information better through sensory aspects, as well as whole simulation and stimulation of mind and body, right? And then we also teach you our KISS technique, which is our emergency technique for if you've got, it's great for kids if they're accidentally bumping themselves a lot. It's great for emergency situations in all aspects. There's a lot of things the KISS technique does. And why we want to use it is if we've now injured ourselves or someone else has, then we can perform the KISS technique, which allows us to take the body out of a state of stress mode and into a state of healing mode, right? Because we want to be able to get the body back to its natural rhythm as much as possible, as quickly as possible, right? So today is definitely Self-Care Saturday, and it's a topic that I find very appropriate at the moment, especially because we're on a long weekend, and it doesn't necessarily feel like a long weekend because most of us are stuck at home. Although I've been working most of the time, even at home, so for me it is definitely a long weekend, although I'm not taking much of a break. So, at the end of the day, there is this beautiful invitation for us to remind ourselves why it is important to take care of ourselves and really start evaluating what it is we want out of life, right? So one of my previous videos was manifesting and talking about manifesting and law of attraction and how that works, right? And that can be applied through all religions, all belief systems. We have this sense of we have faith in certain things, and once we believe and have faith, we have certain things that are attracted back to us. So really having the time at the moment of recentering, of being able to look at things and reevaluate things and change our perspective little bit by little bit is something that is really beneficial for us. And I find that it has been a major focal point in my reality at the moment, is having to reevaluate what it is I'm wanting, right? Because wanting things allows us to change our circumstances. If we don't know what we want, we can never want to change things. And especially during this time where we have nothing to do other than just be, my biggest suggestions would be to put off the television, to get off social media, except to come and watch the videos. But there are so many self-growth tools out there at the moment, of fitness, of healing. In one of my previous videos, I'm offering 2 free sessions, and not one person has yet to claim those sessions, right? So my question at the moment is, what excuses are you using to stay in your current reality? Because now we have time. We used to use the excuse, oh, I can't do this because I don't have the time to. Oh, I can't clean my house because, I'm never home. I don't have the time to. So our excuses used to always be about time. We don't have that excuse anymore. That is now a bullshit belief system about time, right? So to get very real about that, what excuses are we using in order to not be able to have what we want? So that's something that we look at in Accunect a lot, is the belief systems on how we have things and the belief systems that we get stuck on, right? Because there's a ton of them. We have a ton of belief systems. We are basically made of belief systems. And if you do a lot of law of attraction work and you do a lot of self-growth work, you'll know that this is very, very true. That we are made up of things that we perceive are real. But what is reality? Reality is simply the lens that we're seeing life through, our belief systems, through our perspectives, through our memories, and through our external influences. So there's all these things that kind of create the lens through which we're looking at life, right? And there are a ton of excuses that we use. So one of the things was, people say to me, I don't have money to book sessions with you. I literally, in my previous videos, am giving away free sessions. I'm still waiting for people to claim those. So that is an excuse as well. So I invite you at the moment to look at what excuses you give to yourself to self-sabotage, to hold yourself in the state of being which you're at. one of my favorite quotes in the world is, and it's roughly because I can never remember who said it originally, right? But I heard it, and it's always kind of stuck with me. Is that transformation and shift can only happen when you no longer tolerate the situation that you're in. So that is very profound, because it means we choose on some or other level and tolerate the situation that we're in, because if we didn't tolerate it, we wouldn't allow ourselves to be there. I know I reach a point where if someone's treating me badly and I get fed up enough, then I walk away. For the rest of it, I kind of just chill and I just allow things to happen and I allow the situation to continue, right? You'll know that if you're scared enough about your tank running out in your car and it's on empty, you count the kilometers before you know, okay, well, my reserve tank is now finished, before refilling. That's something a lot of people do instead of just refilling it once the light comes on, right? So that is exactly what we end up doing. We end up creating this excuse within ourselves that allows us to tolerate the situation that we're in. So we tolerate stuff like being treated badly. We tolerate bad relationships. We tolerate not being healthy. We tolerate the pain in our body because, you know, if there is somewhat other reward to it, right? And this is really the time to start looking at what it is we want, what it is we want to achieve, because wanting and achieving are two different things, right? And really starting to recognize the spaces that we're in. I was part of this meditation group for 21 days, and there's literally nothing for anyone to do right now. And the meditation group was all about abundance, right? Which is all about our finances, which is something a lot of people are complaining about at the moment. Like, oh, I don't have money to do this, or, oh, you know, what's going to happen? I can't pay for this because we're on lockdown for another 2 weeks. Oh, what's going to happen to my job? And there was this whole meditation series for 21 days. It was a 21-day challenge on shifting perspective on abundance, right? You know how many people left the groups? And how many people said, I don't have time to look at my abundance, and yet consistently complain about their financial situations, right? So these are things that happen every single day, and we invest a lot of time in things that we don't need to, that we choose to tolerate, but we don't have to. No one says that we have to be unhappy. No one said we have to be poor. Like, no one said any of this to us at any given time. And yet it's something that we absolutely do and choose to get stuck in, which is hilarious. And trust me, I have my own excuses. I have sessions that I get done on myself regularly for my excuses, because you know what? I'm human. I have excuses, I have belief systems, I have perspectives, and I sometimes have these little things where I self-sabotage on, where I'm like, oh no, like I can't do that. Okay. The big thing, though, is recognizing where we're creating shortcomings for ourselves, where we're creating these excuses, and where we're creating the choice and the tolerance for those excuses. So, you know, it's something that I really love about Accunect, is because we kind of get through all that mishmash. We kind of cut right through it. We really get to the bottom of things in a deep, deep way, where it's profound in the way that we then just shortcut through everything. You want to improve your relationships? Great. You know what? It's super easy. We have this beautiful map that we use called our health map, and we personalize your session. So if you're having issues with relationships, or any excuse where you're finding, you know, like, I really have this excuse where men suck, like there's no good guys out there. Or for the guys, like, you know, a common belief system between men is nice guys finish last, and it's not true. Like, there are a lot of nice guys out there who are winning at life because, you know what, they think they deserve it, right? So we look at sessions and go, okay, what is ready to shift for you? So we're not creating excuses. We're not looking at the why. We don't care why you're not in a great relationship. Like, that isn't what motivates the whole session. The session gets motivated by what is ready to shift. What is ready to become the solution, not the excuse. right? Because that's a big thing, is the excuse, is the not willingness to change, is that resistance, that tolerance of coping during this whole situation. So we're able to then create a session. So if you've seen my previous videos, you'd have seen me show this before. So we go through your unique health map, and we customize your session to suit your needs. So if it's for relationship as a focus, it might be that there's a belief system of I'm not worthy of love, or there's a heart chakra aspect that needs some tuning, or emotions of joy and sadness that need balancing, because that's a lot about the heart. Or perhaps needing some spleen energy that isn't really communicating with the heart, so there's no sweetness in life. So there's all these different ways that we look at the body that we're able to then bring healing and magic and watch miracles happen on all levels, right? Mind, body, and spirit, because that's so cool. Like, it's everything together. It's not having to see 10 different people. It's you're seeing one person and creating a customized, personalized session for your needs and your requirements for your absolute healing, right? And that's something that's really, really beautiful. And then we've got our self-care class, like I mentioned first in the video, because this is all about self-care today, right? I even did my nails today, which was all about my self-care for me, because generally I'm not a very girly girl. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll see I speak a lot about masculine energy. For me, painting my nails is an absolute waste of time, and I would rather be doing systems and structures than actually doing something like painting my nails. So in the spirit of feminine energy yesterday, I was doing that today. And that's also something about self-care, right? Because it goes more than just the average thing where we think painting our nails is self-care. Self-care literally means that we put our needs first, because we cannot run on an empty tank. So making sure that we're at optimal health, we're at optimal well-being, we're at optimal vitality, our mind is processing at its peak, right? So it's making sure that we're not running our Lamborghini or our Porsche or our BMW or our Merc on a lower quality fuel or gas, right? We're not trying to put in turpentine in the tank. We're actually putting what we're supposed to be putting in, right? So for all of those who understand cars, you'll know, like, you don't go and put weird stuff in your petrol tank or your gas tank or your diesel tank, right? You put in what it says you need to put in. So if you need 500 ppms, you put in 500 ppms. If you don't, well, it's unfortunate. And for those of you who don't know cars, I'm sure you would have been in a car at one point or another where one wheel is out of alignment and it throws the whole steering out of balance, right? So self-care is all about being able to keep ourselves at our peak, being able to look at our body and being really replenished and being in a communion and understanding with our body, because we really want to live to the best of our ability for like the next 30 years, right? And we can't do that if we're investing our time in the wrong stuff. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, go and catch them. Why? Is because firstly, I'm growing community, so make sure to pop questions in the question comments, because we're really wanting to understand what it is you would love to know about Accunect. There's so much, like, I've been doing this for 7 years now and I'm still learning things. Like, there's still things I'm going like, oh wow, right? So there's a lot of cool things that happen with Accunect and a lot of cool shifts that happen. If you're one of my clients and if you're a practitioner that's watching, post your stuff down in the comments, because I'd love for people to see what's happening worldwide. Josh, if you're still watching, I'd love some of your testimonials in here for people to see, and links to your amazing online balancings. So, there's so much happening on a global scale for Accunect. I'm here in South Africa, which is really, really cool. So, we've got this whole consciousness that's shifting, and we've got so many cool things happening. If you would love to know more about what it is we do, put it in the comments, right? For those of you who have watched my previous videos, you'll know that we have a group that will be starting, because we've got a YouTube channel now officially. It's currently only on the replays of the videos, but we'll be creating different content across the platforms. So watch our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube. We're going to be creating a Facebook group that is a bonus aspect to clients at the moment, right? So it's a bonus. We'll be teaching more specified topics. We'll be changing the way that we're interacting with these videos, as these videos will be more marketing related than they will be for topics like tonight's one, which was all about self-care and taking care of our needs, right, and our excuses. So if you're catching us now at the end, make sure to go and watch again and ask yourself and invite yourself, what excuses are you using to stunt your personal growth and your personal investment? And guys, once again, please, tomorrow is the last day to claim those free sessions. So go and rewatch the video from Thoughtful Thursday and go and look at the video. Go and put in your comment, your like, and your share to try and get that free session, right? I'll be announcing it first thing tomorrow on whichever Sunday tomorrow ends up being for me. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. If you have any questions that we haven't answered in our previous videos, put them in there. If you're going through an emotional time and you're currently watching this video, Silly Sunday from last week has an emotional balancing in it, so go and look for it on my page. There is an emotional clearing balancing in there for any depression, anxiety, worry, stress, control, fear, anger, etc. So go and watch that video for an amazing emotional balancing, right? And then one-on-one sessions for until the end of lockdown will be at 500 Rand a session. A package of 5 will be at 2,025 Rand. So if you want to book your sessions, do so. For self-care happening next week, Saturday, we still have the special available where it is 2,000 Rand for the class where you get your manual and your certificate from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. online. So it is online, guys. You can stay in your pajamas. I know I'll be in my pajamas. So make sure you're comfortable and you're able to just really absorb the information that we'll be teaching. It's a really, really fun class. Josh in US actually just finished his class with 5 beautiful students, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, the testimonials we get from self-care is amazing. So make sure to book your spot in self-care next weekend. So it's 2,000 Rand for the class, plus you get that bonus 3 one-on-one sessions with me to deal specifically with your unique issues, imbalances, and your unique shifts that are possible for you, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're putting you first. Your needs are not the same as the next person. So we're really all about customization and looking at how we can customize your healing process, your growth process, and your transformational process, because that's something that we just have to have happen for you. And in the shortest way possible. So we really want to be able to get in on deep transformational levels, right? Which is something that Accunect is beautiful at. It makes really instant, amazing shifts. And for those of you, if you've watched this video and you have been a client of mine, we would love some testimonials. So put them down below. Great. Any questions from the viewers so far? No questions so far for this evening, unless people type really, really slowly, and I will probably see the questions then once the video is ended. But don't worry, I do answer questions regardless of when they are posted. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments or inbox me, because we're all about support, right? And once again, I've mentioned we're starting groups and we're starting content pages. So if there are things that you would love to learn about, whether it's about law of attraction, whether it's about affirmations, whether it's about your personal health, you're looking for more information on how to do certain things, goddesses, archetypes, anything that you think would be super cool to learn about, we have a lot of knowledge available. I have been living this lifestyle for the past 25 years. So I have a lot of wisdom and knowledge available. So if you're looking for something specific, post it to us and we'll be able to see. And if we don't know it, we know people who know it, so we can then make collaborations. But we need to know what it is that you are looking for in learning more about. Especially during lockdown, we're creating a network and a community right now, so make sure to make your move, right? So cool. Have a beautiful self-care Saturday, everyone. I smell cake in the oven, so I'm really excited for that. And I hope everyone has a glorious, glorious Saturday. Bye-bye.